Hey, welcome back. So on the last video I left you with, I was waiting on the leaf springs to come in order to put the truck back together. Well, guess what? The leaf springs came in. So let me show you the differences between them. The one at the bottom of the screen is the factory original one. The new one is above that, and then I've got shocks for it also. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Here, I'll show you the differences on them. I don't know how well that shows up, but the factory 2 spring is 3/4 inches. Both of them are 3/4 inch. Looks like I'm trying to show. Looks like 11 or inch and 11/16 for the combined pair. You got the metal shim in there. Those ones, the original ones, are rated at, this is difficult here. The original ones are rated at 4,500 pounds per side. The new ones, they're rated at 3,000 pounds. So combined total there is 3 inches. So, and there's, let me see, 6, 7. So there's 8 leaves total. So we'll see how they ride, and then of course I'm putting new shocks on it as well. I'm not going to film putting all this stuff on. I want to pull all the old grease and dirt and debris out from underneath there, so that'll just be a long process. But I've got both sides, so that'll keep me busy for a couple hours. And anyway, I'll check back later and show you progress, and then at some point today we'll take it for a ride and see if it makes a difference. Well, Project Leaf Spring Swap has come to an end. Well, I guess it's being stalled for right now. This centering pin, this is different length than the new ones. So this is the old spring. That pin there is 3/4 inches tall. So on the bottom of it, on the bottom of the leaf spring, this bracket goes there, and then I don't know if you can see the outline, but there's a spacer block that sets the height on the truck. So this one, as I mentioned, is 3/4 inches tall. This one on here, well, you can't see it. You can't see it. Anyway, it's only a 3/8 of an inch tall. So the leaf springs are in there. They're attached on the front and the rear, but that's as far as I can go right now. So, oh, there's that block. So on the axle itself, there's the aluminum block. So the aluminum block has a center, there's a hole in the center of it. So it sits there on top of the axle. The other plate that the shock attaches to sits on top of that, and then the pin is sticking out the bottom of the leaf spring. But the one in there currently now is too short, so it does not go into the block. And I think over time it would slide out. So I'm going to wait till Monday. They're closed over the weekend. I'm going to wait till Monday and get the longer pins and pull the nut off the top, spin the nut off. I'll put a couple C-clamps on the leaf springs, hold them together, pull that nut off, drop the pin out, take it down to the spring shop and get longer locating pins. So I thought I'd move on to the next project. I didn't know if you guys wanted to see this or not, but wasn't going to film it. But then I thought, well, maybe you will want to see it. I've already got it knocked apart, but I'll show you on the next one. When I get to the other side, I'll film that one knocking it apart so you can kind of see what's going on instead of just explaining it. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm ready to start the driver's side. I'll go through the process just like I did the other side, and you guys can watch this one. So there's a shadow. First thing I do is knock all the corrosion off this. It's an aluminum hub, and you got a steel drum, so you're going to have corrosion between the dissimilar metals. tabs. And then I hit it with a little PB blaster just to promote separating. Already did that one. So let me move the camera. On the front side, as I mentioned, let's see if I can do this here. Hopefully it shows. There is a bolt, or what I'm calling a bolt, on the bottom there. You tighten it, or maybe it's loosen it. Nope, it's the other way, it's loosen it. And it moves the cam on the inside. Ouch. And draws the brake shoes in. And there's, you probably can't see it, but there's now clearance between the inside of the drum and the outside of the brake shoe. And then I use earmuffs when I use the hammer on the drum, because you're going to have a loud ring. So and then I hit on the back side and then roll it over. Okay, here we go. It's a heavy sucker too. So you can kind of see that there's nothing to it. Two brake shoes, they're 4 inches wide. The diameter on the drum is 15 inch, so 15 by 4 in the fronts. And there's a lot of life left in these. A little bit of dust packed in there, but other than that, here's a whole lot of life left. I don't see any telltale signs of grease. There's the S-cam there. You can see where it rides on there. Here's the studs. It's an aluminum hub. I'm gonna knock all the studs out and put the longer ones in. And then when I go to put it back together, I will hit all the Zerk fittings, grease everything up really good. Here's the one for the kingpin, S-cam, slack adjusters, it's on the bottom there. So, brake chamber, and it's anti-lock brakes, which is kind of cool. So, there's that. And the brake drum, it's a heavy sucker. So a little bit of rust in there from sitting for so long, but there's no deep grooves or anything. I'll clean it out with some brake clean and maybe some Scotch-Brite and get rid of the rust in there. But anyway, other than that, let me knock a couple studs out so you can see that. Just like a pickup truck, really. Some people take the hub off and take it in and use on a press. Just tap on them with the hammer and they come out. Well, again, if you weren't watching, they would come out, but the other side came out really easy. Spin around here. There we go. I'm not reusing the studs, so I'm not too concerned if the ends get boogered up. So, and then I'll show you what I do on the other one to put the longer one in. This is a continuation of the first half. It was filmed about 2 weeks ago. I wanted to show at least one of the wheel studs being pressed into it, and the battery died when I went into the garage to get more tools, and I didn't realize it until afterward. So I don't have film of the wheel stud being pressed in, so I just went on to the rears. I had family coming in over the weekend for the holiday weekend. They wanted to ride in the truck, but unfortunately I ran into more issues on that, doing the rear. But let me show you what I do have, well, as far as I've gotten so far. So I mentioned I had to swap the wheel studs for the aluminum wheels because they needed to be longer. So the driver's side's done. Let me go to the passenger side. Passenger side, as you can see, is open. I have pressed in the new wheel studs. They're longer, and then I ran into some issues. With the wheel studs originally. I ordered them months ago, so I think that was on Tuesday night. I had family coming over on Friday, and I was trying to get everything done by Friday, but just constant issues with it. The knurl diameter, the part on the inside, it was too big. It was 1/8 of an inch larger diameter, so they were not going to be able to be pressed in. Obviously, it was too big. So I couldn't get them through Freightliner. I tried Peterbilt here in town, and they had them. I ran over to Peterbilt on Friday to pick them up, and when I told them I needed 20. They had 14 of them on the shelf, and they can order the rest of them in. So anyway, on Friday when the other one come in, they only had 19 of them. So I grabbed all 19 of them, and when I pulled the brake drums off the rear brakes, I noticed they were grooved really good. The lip there is at least 1/8 of an inch, and there's one there. It's my guess is somebody replaced the brake shoes and not the brake drums, which I guess is pretty common. I bought brand new brake drums for it, but I'm gonna run the original shoes. They have a slight groove on there from where they seated into the brake drum, but they'll flatten out once I put the new drum on. And then anyway, the place where I got the brake drums from, oh, I forgot the canister. The place where I got the brake drum and the canister from, they had a wheel stud. So I grabbed another wheel stud. I had all 20 of them, and I was able to do that. But one of the things I forgot to mention is you don't see the brake canister there. It's still on the other side. Let me show you. When I was backing the brake canister off, you can see, well, I think you can see that there's usually a nut there. The nut actually twisted off of it, so I had to use vice grips to get it out of there. It's the original brake can, and I mentioned in one of the other videos I was going to change them just because I thought they were original, so there was a good reason to change them. So the place I got the brake cans from, they gave me the wrong brake cans, so I wasn't able to get anything done over the weekend. I got all the wheel studs in, and then I ended up bending one of the clips to hold the shoes on. The shoe pin, well, it's not there right now. So here's the original one here. As you can see here, this nut here is actually attached to it. It threads into there, versus here when you need to cage the parking brake, that nut spins off there, and that keyway comes out of there, and then it actually slides into the back there. So you can see that, and that keeps water out for a seal. And there, it's a universal type brake can, so you figure out the length there, and then cut it off. So I'll make it match the other one. So I'll replace the old ones with 2 new ones. I mentioned in one of the earlier videos about brake sizes. Something that I found interesting: the front brakes, they're drum brakes on the front, and they're 15 by 4, and I noticed on the rears they're actually 16.5 by 7. So the rear brakes are huge compared to like the Dodge trucks, the first generation Dodge trucks, what I'm familiar with. So the objective today is to put this brake assembly back together. The lower shoe, the upper shoe is just sitting there, and then I'll put the drum on both canisters, and then that should round up today. I'll leave you with that, but like all the other ones, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video.